What's going on, guys? It is Laser here with another weekend video analysis. It is Saturday morning. I'm going to be pretty busy this week, so I'm trying to get this video out early. Once again, thank you for all of my supporters who've been supporting me, giving me the thumbs up. I want to quickly address something. I've just not had time to kind of address and comment all the videos, so I do encourage you guys to continue to comment and engage with my videos, but when I get some time and I get around to it, I will show, I might even just go back to my videos and show the thumbs up and hearts. It's been tough to kind of respond to everybody. Having said that, I'm here actually to talk about where I see NIO going. If you've been following along with me on Twitter, if you don't already follow me on Twitter, check out the link below this video in the description section. That is my Twitter. Be sure to be following me. I've been tweeting about where I actually see NIO going. If you don't want to sit here and watch the rest of the video, for some people who've been complaining about it being too long, I'll save you guys time. I see the price kind of coming down here eventually, up and down. All right. So if you don't want to, you want a nice short video, there you go. For those of you complaining about my videos too long, there's your answer. If you want to know where my price target that I'm looking at around 380, and where I see it going, it's $8.50 and $10. How's that for being concise? So for those of you that didn't like my video for being too long, there you go. You can check yourself out. You don't need to watch the rest of the video. But if you actually want to understand why, stick around. I'll be here to actually share with you my analysis. Going through analysis is tough and difficult, and I do my best to try and actually cover it as best as I possibly can. But I've had some people actually comment saying like, man, you need to take a course on, how long your videos, and maybe they're right actually. But when you put a video out at like 1:30 in the morning and you're just trying to drop your analysis, it's pretty tough to try and, get all your thoughts down in a short period of time, especially when you're trying to cover a bunch of different things. Having said that, I will take that into heart and into mind, and I'll try and keep this nice and simple. Follow me on Twitter. There's a lot of interesting things. I will actually just give you guys a little bit of an update. I've tweeted about this. NIO is in a bigger time frame uptrend. If you look at the 24-hour time frame, this is like the uptrend that I would define NIO in, but on a smaller time frame. It is in what I would call a downtrend, and your safe and long entries are going to come like right there, right up where I highlighted in the green actually, right? And we're trying to figure out where that bottom is actually. So if I were to erase all this, and we're going to talk and dive right into the velocity, I'm going to explain my reasoning. So number one, I don't like what I see in the 24-hour time frame. Okay, so the velocity broke to the downside. It broke right over here to the downside. It's below the 200-day moving average. It also made what I would call I don't have to call it. You can see it. You can see it. There's your higher low. It ended up making a lower low. So in order to start a brand new downtrend or a downtrend, it would actually just, even if you get like that lift, which is what we're kind of starting to see right now, that would be your lower high, and that would be your confirmation that it's now in a downtrend, and it would get rejected. I think that's what it's going to do, and it's going to give us a new pivot point actually on NIO, and it'll look something like this. It'll kind of come up and then it'll come down, which of course you'll be able to draw a beautiful trend line. That's your new pivot line, and then we'll actually have a better idea as to when this is going to crack and break actually, because then once that cracks and breaks, I think that's when you'll get your true long signal and when you'll truly find the bottom. Now, just diving into the 24 hours is not enough. It gives you more of a bigger, stronger signal. Now, the most common move and reaction that you see after a velocity breaks is a retest. It's pretty high up, so you would need a pretty drastic move up here. Like you would need to actually invalidate that this thing is going to go lower. You would need a monstrous move like that. Like this would have to be like a 30-40% move on NIO. And I don't know what would justify that. I mean, like maybe there's deliveries, maybe there's something, but you would need absolutely something gigantic for it to actually do. And I don't think this thing sells off that fast without giving you another leg lower. And there's a lot of different signs here that are showing that this ain't looking too hot in the short run. Now, if we were to dive into the 12 hours here, 12 hours is still below the 200-day moving average. It's kind of looking more along the lines of right around here, where it's kind of, it bottomed out, gave you another lift and down. Same kind of instance here, bottomed out, gave you a lift and back down. And even right over here, we got like a little bit of that bottomed out. This actually dragged lower. It gave you a lift and boom. And so I expect something more or less similar. What's going to be different this time versus these times is I do believe it's gonna hold the support, and the support that I'm talking about is I believe this is gonna hold. That's my bullish thesis, is that it's gonna hold, and so you're gonna get so long as the price state remains below this trend line, it's short, right? And we're going to go zoom into the hourly here so you guys can actually see this trend here. So long as the price stays below this trend line, your bias should be leaning towards short. There's going to be the risk of this riding up, rejecting, and coming down. And this is going to provide your ultimate long opportunity. That's where you're really going to want to get long. I do think this right here is preparing to make a big move up. Like and retest that would be like a nice 15% run. Not guaranteed, and not one that I would bet on, because if you missed my last week's video, you should be leaning short. Like your bias should be short on this thing. Where is it? Why can't I see it? I think it's right over here. You see this? Like you cannot draw a support trend line any lower than this, right? I can't think of anything else that would support this price other than this one, actually. And so because of that, that's why my bias is short. But again, let's quickly recap here because I covered quite a bit. 24-hour time frame below the 200-day moving average, 12-hour time frame below the 200-day moving average. It is technically forming a bullish divergence, which is great. But again, as we've seen in the past before, even when you get bullish divergences, any type of rally would technically get shorted down. And again, looking at the bigger time frame, which is the stronger signal, that would actually look more like this. Okay, a nice pump followed by the dump, actually. And that doesn't mean it's the end of the rally. That just means we haven't quite neared where the bottom is, which I think is going to end up coming right at the bottom of that trend line. And 2 hours shows that, like, it's looking good. It's looking like it wants to continue to rise. I had a nice 5% rally. If I have to go on a limb and go on a prediction, I think next week could be a very green week. And that's probably where I'm going to lean, is you're going to get that rally. And you're going to get a lot of people saying, oh, it's going to the moon. It's going to, it's going to their FIB targets of 850 and 11. And maybe they're right. And maybe it does that. But until I see this break right up there, and until I see it break right up here, I am convinced for 1 second. Okay. And this is NIO, and this is a heavy retail presence that's literally barcoding on a day-to-day basis. Don't even think for a second that they can't actually do this. They probably can do this. The market makers and whoever's manipulating the stock, this is to them is like, it's going to be the classic move. So there's going to be your pivot point, and that's the way I see it playing out. You look at Baba still has more room to go to the downside. Baba's below 100 now. NIO's not alone, right? Like it's moving with the market. You look at the Hang Seng, it has room to go to the downside. The Dixie, you look at the Dixie. I mean, I've had some people mention to me that they think the Dixie's going to go down in the long run, and I do think so too. But right now, there's nothing about the Dixie that looks bearish. It looks very quite bullish until it hasn't actually tested this trend line, and that's what it wants to do. It wants to ride higher, in my opinion, and test 105. So you can't really claim the bottom is in when it's just made like a higher high relative to this high, actually. So that's bullish. I think what you want to see if you want to see this breakdown, of course, I think the catalyst is going to be the FOMC and rate cuts, but you're going to want to see it ride, double top, and then, break down in that sort of fashion. And that could be it. And we're not quite there yet. We're not even at that trend yet. What you don't want to see is you don't want to see the Dixie, which is the US dollar, come up and pop up. Phew. All right. So I'm trying to think if I didn't forget anything. Yeah, of course, there was the 50-day, 200-day moving average cross. Like, As you guys, if you guys haven't figured that out, that doesn't mean anything. That is truly a lagging indicator, and it's not a great indicator. And I hope you guys understand. And for those of you that were offended by that tweet of mine, and I know some people, it rubbed people the wrong way. I wasn't trying to poke fun at. I mean, I was trying to poke fun, but I wasn't trying to bash anybody. I was really just trying to bring attention to the fact that, you know, you got to be careful with the 50-day, 200-day moving average, the pumpers, and how excited. You got to calm yourself down and not let yourself get too excited. Now, I could be wrong. I've been wrong in the past before. I'm pretty sure. Okay, by the way, I'm pretty sure we got last week's right with the price just kind of going and heading lower. You can debate. Some people can debate whether that's right or wrong, but I'm going to give myself a point for that. So I'm 6 for 8. And if NIO does what I think it's going to do going into next week, that would make me 7 for 9. And I think it's going to go up next week, but it's going to be something where you got to be very careful and cautious. And that can very well just be I think that's going to be a short setup. And you want to watch for it to slowly like reject and come back lower. It seems obvious. We all know it's oversold. There's going to be that bounce that's coming, but I don't know how many people are out there on Finchwit that are telling you, be careful. I think most people that are on this bounce are probably saying, buy the dip, it's going to the moon. Am I the only one out here that's telling you guys to be careful? Because you should be careful. And I hope that's why you guys appreciate my analysis. You know, I'm not here to pump the stock. I'm not here to just give my bullish view. I'm also here to give you my bias view if I see it bias. That is what I believe going into next week. Now, to calm everybody's nerves, I do believe we will eventually hit our price targets, guys. I'm still a firm believer and in the camp of $8.50 and $10. Those are going to be, you know, eventually hit. But this is not a confirmation of a bottom when I look at that. And if anything, you'll get more or less something like that. And then it would kind of bounce, and then you would get that rally. And I would see something along those lines. Something like that. That's the way I see it, you guys. So I'll try and post some updates throughout the week with my analysis. I'll be pretty busy this week, but if I get around to it, I will be posting my tweets. If you guys have any questions, don't forget to drop the questions in the comment sections below. I hope I actually addressed any of your questions and concerns. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my videos as always. I'm not going to actually go any further into this video. So I'll wish you guys all a happy weekend. Cheers and take care.